Hi guys, guten Morgen. Today's the day you're going to get to learn about dative. All right? So as you remember, and you just love our chart, right? We've worked very, very hard on nominative and on accusative, right? So you know these rows by heart. And you remember that really the only change is where der changes to den and ein changes to einen. Okay? Now, the dative is a whole different ball of wax. You see that? They all change. And not only that, there's some weird stuff going on. There's a der here, but the der was up here. And there's a den here, and the den is right here. But let me tell you, you will never get them mixed up. We'll talk about this a lot next next year when I see you. But there is the subject of a masculine noun, der Tisch. This is the dative of a feminine noun. So to her. You're never going to get the table and to her mixed up. I promise. Okay? So you're going to need to have this very much in your head and or available to do this. All right? The other really important part is you have to remember what the function of these are in the sentence. Okay? The nominative is the subject. It's what's doing the verb. I am teaching a lesson. I am the subject. Okay? What am I teaching? That's the direct object. It answers the question what. What am I teaching? The lesson. Now, the difference between the direct object and the indirect object is this little 2 or 4. If you can put a 2 or a 4 in front of a noun or a person or whatever in the sentence, it's going to be the indirect object. It's not exactly what is happening. It's 2 or 4 what is happening. All right, so let me give you the example. Okay, so the example is, I give my father a book. Okay, great pen. I give my dad a book. Okay, who's doing the giving? I am. That's the nominative or the subject. What am I giving? The book. That's the direct object or the accusative. Now, in English, when it's this order, we don't have to say to my dad, do we? We just say I give my dad a book. But we know that the book is going where? To my dad. So this to is inferred. So this is the indirect object. Okay? So that's the way it works. And it works exactly the same in German. So we're going to give, ich gebe. Now, if all I was saying was I give a book, then how would I say a book? Think about it. We've got the book, the gender of book is das. We're giving, what are we giving? We're giving it away. So it's the accusative object, the direct object. So there's the ein. So ein Buch. We're going to put it over there where it belongs. Now, father. So we have a Vater in the sentence. It's a der word. So we're going to go to the chart. We're going to look at the der word, and we've determined that the father is the direct object, the indirect object, the dative object. So we're going to go down here to the dative, and what does the der change to? Dem. Okay? So this says, actually this doesn't say my, it says the. I give the father a book. Okay? So now you can change all sorts of things here. You have a whole bunch of gifts on page 317. You need to learn the vocabulary. So let's change our example to I'm going to give the mother a calendar. And just for fun, let's say you are going to be doing the giving. Okay? So let's go ahead and get started. You give, do. Give is a stem changing verb. The stem changes in the do form. Gibst. Now, calendar is a der word. What are we giving? We're giving the calendar. So it's the direct object in the sentence. It's a der word. Aha. That's the one that changes to den. So we're going to say den kalender. Then we have Mutti. Okay, so Mutti is a D word. What is happening? We're giving it to her, right? I've lost you. Are you there? We're giving it to her, so it's the dative indirect object. So we're going to come down here. We're going to go to the D word. Come down here. Ah, there's the der. What do you know? Du gibst der Mutti den Kalender. Okay, you see how you're not going to get this mixed up with a der word because you know that this isn't a der word, right? Okay, and the other thing you can do is you can make these, instead of saying the mother, you could say a mother. It's the same story. It's a D word, it's the indirect object, and here's the a. So instead of der, you could say einer, right? If you wanted to say you gave her a calendar, the calendar is still the direct object, the accusative object for a der word. Oh, there's the a, einen. So you could say einen. You'll notice, oh, look at that, same ending. Look at that, same ending. So you really only need to learn it once, and it goes with both the and the a. Okay? So that's the story of the dative. This is explained on page 319, and you're going to be practicing this until you're blue in the face. The first practice is you're going to be doing it this way, with nouns. Nouns are things or people. So here, the noun is the calendar, and the noun is the mother. The noun is the book, and the noun is the father. Okay? So the other part of this video that you might have to come back and watch again, in the second set of homework assignments, we're going to be changing the noun, the dative noun, into a pronoun. So instead of saying I give my father, okay, so let's change this also to, and you remember that ein words are possessives, right? So instead of saying, let's see, let's make this would be einem, right? Same ending. And this would be, it would be das, if it were the. Okay, I did that backwards. All right, now you have to remember that possessives are ein words. So if instead of saying I give a father, you want to give it to your father, you would say meinem. If I'm going to say I'm talking to you and I say, oh, you're giving your mother a calendar, then you could say deiner. Same endings, the possessives act like the ein words. All right? Now, the second part that you might need to come back and look at is where we're going to change this. We're going to change this into a pronoun. Remember, a pronoun takes the place of a noun. So you give your mother a calendar. If you were going to do a pronoun here in English, what would it be? Her. You give it to her, right? Okay, so then you look at this chart. You gotta be able to see the top for a minute. So her is from she, right? So I becomes me. This is me also. You becomes you, right? It doesn't change in English. That's why this is hard. This is she, but this is her. Okay? And the difference between these two are the same as on the other chart. These are the direct object. The things that, like I see her, right? She hears me. Who is she hearing? She's hearing me. Who is she seeing? She's seeing her. So those are all the direct objects. But then when you can add the to or the for, then it's going to be the indirect objects, the dative ones. Well, here, this is, who are you giving to? Your mother. So this is she, your mother. And if you're giving it to her, you're going to jump over here to the dative. So this is going to change to ear. Yay! So it's not that hard. You're going to confuse this. This means you guys, right? In the subject line, you guys, you guys, you guys. But you're not going to mix this up because you're not going to give you guys away, right? You're not, I promise. Okay? So same story up here. If we're going to change from I give my father a book, I give him a book. Again, before the him I have to say to, right? I give to him a book. If you just say I give him, you're giving him away. No giving your parents away. That's not allowed. Okay? So we go up here. We find the er for he. Okay? For him, right? So we go from er. We're going to give it to him. So we're going to jump over here to the dative, which is 2 or 4. What is it? Ah. Im. And what do you know? Same ending. Same ending. See? It isn't really that hard. Okay? So don't try to do too much at once. Get used to doing sentences with the nouns, not the pronouns. So use all of these gifts on page 317. Use all of the people and the dogs and the cats and the things that you want to give things to. Because of the nature of dative being 2 or 4, we tend to only use 2 verbs in this unit. We use geben, which is what we've used here. And we use schenken. Schenken also means to give. If you know the word for gift, gift is das Geschenk. Okay, so das Geschenk, schenk, schenken. You see what that, see, it's the same stem, the same root, sorry. So schenken means to give, but it implies to give a gift. So you wouldn't say, ich schenke ein Geschenk. That's being double. You don't need to say that. Ich schenke ein Buch. I give a book. Okay? And because I said ein Buch, it's what I am giving. Now, the other thing you have to watch out for is the word order needs to stay the same. And I didn't think that one worked. This is going to make this look even worse. But basically, you have to keep the dative in the middle. See how it goes up here? The subject goes here, the dative or the indirect object goes next, and the direct object goes after that. Don't switch them around. In English, we can switch them around, but we have to add the preposition. I give a calendar to my mother. Okay? So then we do have to switch, use the to. But in German, you don't if you leave it in the middle. Okay? So what I suggest you do on a piece of paper, make yourself a column, write the 2 examples, find them out of this mess. Ich gebe meinem Vater ein Buch. Du gibst deiner Mutter einen Kalender. Then du, sie gibt, ihrer, it's a good way to practice the possessives, right? Ihr is the possessive for she. Now see, this ihr has to have an ending. Don't get mixed up with that. So, sie gibt ihrer Mutter ein Auto. Gibt, just go down all of the pronouns. Make yourself sentences with other family members and the gifts that are in the book, and just practice. Just practice. There's going to be a practice worksheet. I'm going to type out a different worksheet for you to do. And then the second set of homeworks, I will give you the same link to this video. You can go through all the way to the end where I talked about the changing of the guard, the changing of the pronoun to the im and the ear, and then you have a whole set of sentences you've practiced with that you can change those nouns into pronouns. So you can practice the pronouns part, and there will be a whole bunch of exercises with that. Okay? I hope this wasn't too confusing. We can talk about it on the Zoom call next week. But I'm not going to assign this until I think it's the Thursday after the Zoom call. So you're going to have to kind of be on your own unless you let me know. And I can certainly answer questions. Okay? Good luck, you guys. Have fun with it. The dative is my favorite case. I think it's used the most in German. So you really need to get a hold of it and really master it. So you go ahead and do that. All right? And I will talk to you later. Tschüss.